to you? Because a lot of them are about your trips on the road, maybe, or your personal preferences. But I get that feeling that you're looking back to create something new, and I think that's what the specials, to me, were all about.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, that was. But that's, if you look at, I think all the. It's heavily pretentious. Like, let's look at the Ramones, for example, who were really new, but you could hear what their influences were.
Yeah.
You could hear that it was just like straight rock and roll played really fast, and sort of like girl groups, if you like, and American bubblegum pop. But you can see that, but it was combined together, and it made something totally different. You can see that with the specials. You can see, okay, there's the Scatolites, Bob Marley and the Wailers, and there's the Clash, and. But you could look back and you could see that. But a lot of people have said that these are kind of autobiographical. They're just places that I visit, and so I'll just take photographs and sort of work from them.
But a vernacular, so it's of one place. These roadside cafes, and I mean, there's photographers like John Margolis. You take pictures of these places, and they can only be on the road in America, sort of Highway 61, kind of,
America is like a mythical. Well, to me, it was a mythical place, and I think it probably still is. It's where the music that I loved lived.
Yeah.
When I was, 12 and listening to Radio London, the pirate radio stations, and I'd hear Otis Redding and all that sort of stuff. And wow, I wonder what he's like. I wonder where he, what he does, where he goes and eats. Where I wonder what clothes he wears. But so and the same with the blues, with Chicago. You wonder what that place was like in 1956 or 1962. And all that kind of stuff, and to think that you could actually walk into a room half this size and see Muddy Waters and his band tearing it up would just be amazing.
Well,
and I think the same.
People wondering in America what Coventry was like in 1977.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It goes around, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think that's perhaps what art has a lot to do with. Is like the sort of the mystery or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm done with questions, Horace. I was going to ask. If anyone out there has got a question for Horace about music or his art or...
Go ahead.
Hey.
I think it might be just a comment you made, but I heard recently that 60% of the people on the charts are privately educated at the moment, on average, and whether you had a comment about that.
Are there charts these days?
Well, that could be the comment.
You want me to talk about music now?
Yeah, perhaps.
Okay.
Privilege and whether, where I say we are, but these students from Leeds, it's not necessarily a well-funded institution or environment. Some people from performing arts, etc. How would they access, today in the same way as maybe back in your time? What's the contrast?
Fucking faintest idea. I would hate to be in a group and be 19 now. Back then, I could go to a studio and, like, for 200 quid, make a demo, and there's a fair chance that John Peel could play it. There's a fair chance that it could be reviewed in Sounds, Melody Maker, or the Musical Express. Now, you can put it on YouTube, but I mean, along with 3.5 million other things, I honestly don't know. I would struggle. I mean, I go, just because you can make an album on a laptop, in your back bedroom, it's like, go back to you need it's got to be good. You have a good idea. It's got a good design. Yeah. I think a good song has always.
You mentioned the press
come through.
Do you ever think that I used to read Sounds, Melody Maker, and Me every week without fail. My brother used to buy them. I used to read them. Then I started buying them. But they were good. In a way, you got less information, but it was filtered, and you'd know what was happening. Yeah. There's the Face magazine, 1981. This new youth magazine. It changed the way magazines look. Neville Brody typography, and there on the front covers Jerry Dammers, and it all sorts of comes together. New music, new design, but you could access it, and it was there on the shelf, and you could buy a copy, and you'd know what was going on. Now, I do find that it's diffuse.
I don't know whether actually I'm responsible, because I'm going to be 62 this year. How stupid is that? I mean, when I was, I'm shooting myself in the foot here, big time. But I think perhaps that we're all, well, you know, I have this thing that the reason music is so, like death metal and or like this totally unlistenable stuff. You know, I always think that you may imagine these children at home and their parents come in and they say, well, Timmy, your husband and I, your father and I are going to go out to see that nice Mr. Brian Adams. So you can say, so of course you would make something that was totally unlistenable, because your parents like rock and roll, for fuck's sake, you know. So you've got to make something that's, you know, that's got to be different. We make, the specials when we go out, we make money playing live. We don't make money selling records. 35 years ago, we would go on tour because we had a new record out. Okay, so you go on tour to promote the record. Nowadays, you release a bit of something to get played on the radio because you're going on tour. So that whole thing has changed. You know, I don't know, do people make money out of recorded music anymore? I get a couple of grand a year from music that I recorded 35 years ago, but I ain't going to buy a BMW with that.
Spotify's
You know
a
what I
good
mean?
example. You get, I don't know how much you get for a play, but
Yeah,
for
it's-
new bands, it's pointless.
it's bollocks.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
If you're
it's
U2,
bollocks.
maybe you're making
Yeah.
20 quid a week or something.
Yeah. I don't know. That sounds really grim, and I don't want to dissuade, because there's something fantastic about realising that if you put your fingers there and you go like that, and that amazing noise comes out behind you, you know, and it's like, that was good, you know, and then you can perhaps play an A, you know, whatever, you know, and that's always, you know, people are all. I go and see bands in Coventry, you know, where kids some kids have learnt, wow, look, I can do this, and A, it makes me feel fantastic, and B, look what the people who come to see do, you know, when I play that. That's, you know, the music will communicate. It will always do that, you know.
Any other questions? Okay, Horace. It's like a ghost town.
Okay.
I'd just like to thank Horace for being here. It's been a real pleasure talking
Thank you
to
very
about
much.
your work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, right, thanks. Thank you all for coming. If any